Hey, and welcome to another episode of Chopping It Up. This is a Patreon exclusive, but honestly, the people who are enjoying the first 15 minutes, hi, hello, hope you're well. If you want to enjoy this full episode, all you have to do is subscribe to our Patreon, just a simple $6 a month, and you can enjoy the rest of this episode. You can look at our library of episodes that we have had between our match preview series, our interview series. We have plenty more things cooking, percolating that will be popping on our Patreon. And also, it's just a great way to support our independent podcast. We're out here doing it on our own. And all you got to do, what is that? That's like 1 pint. It's a coffee in the morning, just one a month. Just tell yourself no, make coffee at home, and help us out. Amazing guest for you today. I've talked about it a million times. I don't know if you knew, but I just came back from England, a trip. And through there, I was able to meet so many most dope people. And today's guest is one of them. Shout out to Manchester Evening News for having me on Talking City. Got to meet Simon Baskowski and our guest today, Joe Bray. You may or may not follow him on social media. You may or may not have read some of his articles. It was one of those things when we were leaving, I was like, I'd love to have you on. And he did the whole, yeah, totally, I would like to. And he could have easily dubbed me. He could have easily been like, yeah, never talking to this guy again. But here he is. So shout out to him. What a lovely bloke. Shady Gang, give it up for Joe Bray. How are you, friend?
I'm much better after that introduction. Thank you very much. Good to see you again.
Yes, same. Goodness. The easiest way that I love starting off these interviews, and for people who don't know, I like building a rapport with our people. We get to know them as humans and individuals before we dive into all things football, city, etc. Because in theory, I would like for them to come back and for them to not feel like I'm just using them for information. This is a relationship I'm trying to build here, people. Get to know us. But my first question to you is, how did you fall in love with football?
I've probably not the way you would expect, given that I cover Manchester City. I support a club not too far away, but completely opposite ends of the footballing world. So I support Oldham. That's my local team. That's where. You came over to Oldham for the. That's where our offices are based at the Manchester Evening News. And I was born in the hospital, which overlooks the football ground. And my dad tells me that he held me up to the window and said, "This is your football team." And I think the year after I was born, they got relegated from either the Premier League or the second division. 2 years after that, they got relegated. Spent 23 years, I think, in the third division. So I've only ever known lower league football, and now they're they had a rapid drop into the fifth division. So on a Saturday, for example, I will go and watch non-league, National League football with 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 fans maybe, and then maybe on a Sunday I'll be at the Etihad watching Erling Haaland and Kevin De Bruyne and 55,000 fans, and it's 5 miles apart, if you like, but complete worlds apart.
Hey, and they always say it's good to never forget where you came from. And here you are still supporting it, the true grassroots football. I love, that's a random thing that I very much enjoy doing, is looking at the club names of all the teams in the lower leagues. I'm familiar with the team Oldham, but some of the names that these clubs have, like, they just feel so old. It's just like, man, this is like, I could tell this team has been around forever. They've experienced a lot of things, or just some of the names. It's like, where did this even come from? I want to know the backstory of these names. And there are certain friends where I would ask them, and I was like, why is this place called this? And they'd be like, well, like, that's what I love about the English. Like, if you want a random history lesson, and you have the
Yeah.
time, they will give it to you. Where in America, we're just like, I don't know, bro. I don't know. So like, it's great. You guys stick to your roots and you hold on to that information and you pass it down.
I think like the nicknames as well of clubs. So you can have like the Hatters or the Cottagers, or
Yeah.
that's related to the industry of that town 100 years ago. And I think Stockport are the Hatters, but they don't sell hats anymore. But they've still maintained that, and that's part of their history. So yeah, it's all of those things are really important to fans, and I just find that level of football, even if you go down into the sort of Championship, League One, League Two, it's a bit more honest because yeah, it's brilliant to watch City in the Premier League, but you've got these players who are basically playing every week for their contracts for their future. You're only getting a year contract, and you're probably going to have to move 200 miles away for your next one, or things like that. So, and also they make mistakes, and the fans get frustrated, and it's not perfect. And so I had a year or so where I didn't go to a game for work reasons and family reasons, and it's hard when City play on a Saturday to go to watch my team. But I think I went about 18 months, 20 months without seeing a win of my team.
Oof.
And I went the other week and we won 2-0, and that was just, it was a rubbish game, but I was so happy just to see a victory.
I love that. And even holding on to the team's names, and when I was there, just the architecture, just taking in everything. Where here in America, even with our team names, we're so quick to, hey, this team name is outdated. This logo is outdated. This building, it's so old. Get rid of it. We love new, shiny. Give us reasons to buy things and spend money. Where I just loved, I would just stand and be staring at buildings and be like, bro, this, you can tell this has been here for such a long time. I'm sure there are just parents who can tell you different stories and experiences that they've had in these buildings, in these restaurants. And I loved it. I'm still looking over all the photos and videos that I took over my time. And it's like, bro, what is life? I can't believe I got to experience this. And I cannot wait to come back. I really can't believe, well, I can't believe I waited this long. Things are expensive. Like,
Yes,
life be lifing. My first 3 years, I very much focused on growing this podcast and doing all these other things. Now that we're running, we have more podcasts in our network. I'm at the point where, yeah, now I actually need to be going out, meeting people in person, doing the PR, the networking, all of those good things that I actually very much am good at and I love doing. But yeah, so we're great. Well, let's keep going and learning a little bit more about you. How did you get into sports journalism?
I wasn't. I mean, I didn't intend to become a football journalist. I went down to London for a year and trained just to do journalism. And I wasn't looking for football writing jobs. And then one came up at the Manchester Evening News, 5 miles from where I grew up. And I wasn't much a fan of London. It's too big, too busy.
It is a lot.
All of the jobs for journalism are down in London, but I found this one in Manchester. I could live at home for a little bit and find somewhere of my own, and I was able to do that and work the way through, because in Manchester you've got City, United, two of the biggest clubs, and so many talking points. A really good opportunity, I think it was, and a good patch to write about something I knew inside out, which was football. So it was sort of a learn on the job kind of role. And then I don't know whether you guys will relate to this, but the majority of our views are for Manchester United because they have the history, the sort of worldwide fan base. So everyone wanted to do Man United stuff, and I saw City as, I've got no affiliation with them, but it's the same thing. It's the same job, basically. You're writing about the same thing. It's a top level football club, and I mean, City have been doing over the last few years are significantly better than United. So while everyone was sort of chasing maybe the big numbers and all of that, I just thought, well, it's the same thing if you do City, and I think that might have helped me a little bit, but it also helps when you've got a very, very good football team to write about and a lot of talking points as well.
Exactly. Well, and it's nice of you to see the opportunity. I mean, and that's all it is see a lane and take it. And especially that's how I created Shades of Blue. I knew that there was a giant lane that needed to be filled, and I've just been doing my part trying to do so. And hey, I'm happy that you're here writing about City. I very much enjoy what you do and how you go at it. So keep up the good work. I'm obviously you don't know the behind the scenes things, but I'm always a big give people the affirmations, give them the flowers while they have it, and I appreciate it. What is something that on both ends that you think is overrated and underrated about the sport? It can be a rule, a chant, even a player. I mean, obviously, as a writer, you probably won't go at anything specific. I assume it'll probably be something cultural. Let's start with underrated. What do you think is something that's underrated about football?
It's a tricky one because I always watch football and nothing especially springs to mind. I just like the storylines and stuff. So, like for example, last night I was watching Nottingham Forest Man United, and it wasn't a very good game. But at the end, there's all the tension, and there's always something with a different game. Even when City, so tonight they've got Leicester. We all expect it to be a fairly comfortable win. There will be something that happens that you've probably not seen before, or you can go to so many games. I can go to my local club and not see them win, but when they do, it's that moment, and there's always something that makes you realise, yeah, this is why I like football. Or I could watch Kevin De Bruyne and he's not having a great season, but then he'll just play a pass or do one run, and I'm thinking I am so lucky to be watching this guy play football. So I think it's that sort of blind faith that something positive is going to happen, but when it does, you forget everything that's gone on, and you think, yeah, do you know what, this is why I like this sport.
I love it. The thing I have embraced, like every year I kind of have a saying, a mindset that I kind of just hold to heart. And last year mine was I don't yuck your yum, which basically just means I'm not here to judge. Let it, as long as you're not hurting, maiming, upsetting, anything negative to other people, like do you like whatever you like, do whatever you do. I'm not over here to judge you. And this year, sometimes they're serious, sometimes it's silly. This year is silly. Is I'm fake. So I will completely admit that there have been times where I've been going in on somebody, and then not even 3 days later when I'm recording, I'm like, I love this person.
Yeah.
Can you believe that they're doing all this stuff? Give me the leeway to just completely forget and omit the things that I said not even 30 seconds ago if I have to, because sometimes that just happens. I contain multitudes. Let me contain them. Like that's
well,
all.
that's
really
the thing,
is.
isn't it? Like football changes so quickly. Like you can have a player who does terribly for so long, and then they can score a brilliant goal or have one good game. You're like, all right, this is it. He's going to do really, really well, and they might not. But there's an ability to have a different opinion every single week and every game. And I mean, as a journalist, we lean into that quite a lot because that's what we need to do. But I've flip flopped on Jeremy Doku more times than he has with the ball this season. I think, oh, he's really good, and then I'm like, but he doesn't actually do anything when he gets into a crossing position, and then I'm like, but he can do. He's got the potential. And if you listen to our podcast, I think every week I've got a different opinion on players like
that. And I love that because, like you said, we just need to be able to have those back and forths. Okay, what is something that you think is overrated about football?
Again, it's tricky to pinpoint something. I'm not sure it's overrated. I don't like the signs that say, "Can I have your shirt?" I think, yeah, it's not as nice. Everyone says, "Oh yeah, what a lovely gesture this player's done," but they've not really got a choice. And I know these players are on a lot of money, and it doesn't cost them anything to do it, and they should be interacting with fans like that. But I always look at these little kids, and they've got sort of pristine signs that have been printed off clearly by their parents, and I'm like, just let these kids enjoy football. Let them, if they want to go to a game, if they want to do that, absolutely fine. But just let them support how they want. It's not about getting a shirt or anything like that. And yeah, I always think that's a little bit fake to use that word as well.
When I was at the match versus Brighton, it was like the final moments of the game, and sure enough, the parents were like, "Hey, kid, grab your sign, grab your sign, grab your sign, grab your sign."
Yeah,
and he did it, and you could tell he wasn't all in on doing it, and he felt very embarrassed. Like, he holds the sign that was bigger than him, and so he's trying to like put his head above it, and it does. It says, it's like, "Kevin, can I get your shirt?" And he's like meagerly holding it, and we're in a stadium with 55,000 people. It's going to take a lot for him to see that sign, and we're close, but we're not that close. In order, if he took his shirt off to give to that kid, he would have to hand it to somebody to hand it to that person, because if he threw it, it would just be like, it'd be like piranhas.
Well, you see that, don't you? If a player throws a shirt or whatever into the crowd, it's all these big men are sort of clambering over children to try and get it. I'm like, that's just no.
It's so embarrassing.
Nobody comes out well out of that, and you've got kids who you just want to let enjoy the football, come away with a negative experience. And it's, or if you take them with a sign, they think we're going to get a shirt, and it's like, no, you're not. You're not going to get Kevin De Bruyne's shirt. That's such an incredible thing to happen. It's, yeah, I don't know. I'll stop ranting about that, because every time I see it, it annoys me.
Hey, this is exactly why I asked these. I want to try to set our guests up to just rant on something. I saw it a lot, especially in the US tour, and I know that is a part of the US tour, is to try to connect with as many people as possible. But especially like Holland, where you would just see the kids running in circles just wherever Holland was in the practice, and just kids trying to just get his attention and just constantly screaming from the moment that the practice starts, "Let me get your shirt, let me get your shirt, let me get your shirt." And it's like, bro, we're going to be here for 2 more hours. Like, is this what you're going to